Let's go. This door is open. My very good morning, Nigeria. We are denied a fourth consecutive win after being held to a 2-2 draw by Saudi Arabia in a friendly at the Stadium Municipal in Baltimore on Friday evening. Joseph Pesero's side looked to be heading for a dramatic victory after Kelechi Iheanacho put them ahead with 9 minutes remaining with an own goal from Abdullah Amri, having earlier cancelled out Salma Al-Faraj 60th minute free kick. But Mohamed Akano popped in the 10th minute of additional time to peg the Super Eagles back after he too scored from a free kick to arrest a 6-match losing streak for the Green Falcons. So welcome to the show. This is the Sport Ride. Good morning again. My name is Kizzy K. We'll talk about sports right now. Moving on, Super Eagles head coach Joseph Pesero insists he has capable replacement for injured Doe, Victor Osimhen and Kelechi Iheanacho ahead of the start friendly against Bambas of Mozambique. And that's stated for today. Osimhen and Iheanacho are not available for selection after featuring in last Friday 2-2 draw against Saudi Arabia. Napoli striker Victor Osimhen sustained an injury in the game and has returned to Italy for medical attention, while Kelechi Iheanacho, who scored Nigeria's second goal against the Green Falcons, has left the camp to attend to personal matters. Pesero is optimistic ahead of the encounter, insisting he has a clutch forward to replace the Doe. We will miss Kelechi and Victor, but we have other good players who can make Nigeria proud. I look at the bench and see players who can step up and take chances. Pesero told NFF.com Monday evening. A Monday meeting will be the 5th ever clash between both Nigeria and Mozambique at senior level. The encounter will also hold at the Stadium Municipal de Albufeira. It will start by 4 p.m. Nigerian time, and that's just what it needs to be. So that game coming up, we see Nigeria playing against Bambas of Mozambique. There's something I want to quickly share with you on the show now. The fact that we are playing against the Mozambique side, and when asked, talking about the NFF president, Ibrahim Musa Kuzawa, His Excellency, when asked question about why are we playing against a side that is a Mozambique, why not play against a better, maybe a better side up on the ranking? And he said, no, the reason why we play Mozambique is the fact that Mozambique is okay. Mozambique play like a team, like Lesotho, South Africa. They are on the same axis, and he knows we are going to be playing them. Talk about the World Cup qualifying for 2026. So when you play against the Mozambique side, it means you're indirectly playing against a side like Lesotho and South Africa, who happen to be paired with us right there for the qualifiers during the World Cup time. So we have to wait to know what comes to play. But for the injury, it's a bad one for Nigeria, whichever way. But like he said, when you look at the bench, I'm not the manager of the team, but when I look at the bench myself, I begin to wonder, who does he want to start? Who gets to play ahead of each other? Victor Boniface got to start all the time. Osimhen got to start as well. But we did see Terry Murphy coming from the bench. That's also an Awani, who is out at the moment. But let's talk about Napoli and Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen, who will undergo an MR scan to determine the extent of the injury he suffered on the country's 2-2 draw in a friendly with Saudi Arabia, his national team side, against Saudi Arabia, right in Portugal. Osimhen left the game in the 55th minute at the Portimao Stadium in Portugal. Super Eagles coach Joseph Pesero said Osimhen would undergo a scan and is likely to miss Monday friendly against Mozambique, also in Portugal. Osimhen he's got 6 goals in Serie A the season so far, and was the league top scorer as Napoli won the title last season. Before Napoli, he played in a club like Germany side, that's for Wolfsburg, and also for French side Lille. Also played for Royal Charleroi in the Belgium side, that's Victor Osimhen. Now, away from that story, let's talk about one man who I would say 7-time major champion in the making and still counting. Maybe time will tell if he gets to make it 8. Formula One's governing body is reviewing Lewis Hamilton's punishment for crossing the live track without permission at last weekend Qatar Grand Prix. Amid concern the penalty was not enough and was not tough enough. The 7-time world champion collided with Mercedes teammate George Russell at the first corner at Lusail, abandoning his car in the gravel and crossing the track to return to the pit lane. The pitting was given a rebrand, and fined 50,000 euro. That's approximately 52, that's to say $545 That's big. With 25,000 suspended for the rest of the season on condition he did not do it again. So now the governing body said on Sunday it was revisiting the incident. Now the steward report at that time said Hamilton had rescheduled and reached the inside edge of the track just seconds before Russell arrived at high speed after exiting the pit. The governing body is likely to want or set clearer guidelines and more stringent penalties for such a breach in the future. And if this happens to be, I would not be sounding cold, for Lewis Hamilton. Did he really do it? Some will tell. I feel like when they're done with a check, it's not football, so I would have said a VAR. But this one is about, total wealth, the Mercedes people trying to make sure that everything's all right. But it happens to be that Lewis Hamilton is now in the news. So maybe this might really be on its own detriment just as it unfolds. Now, come with me, let's talk about tennis, what's really going on. Before I came on air, I did see that on my mobile when I was going through and I saw people asking questions. Who would you say is the greatest of all time? And for tennis world, there's been a whole lot of conversation where many feel if you want to talk about the greatest of all time in sports generally, you would give it to, Novak Djokovic. That's for tennis. Personally, my opinion, if you ask me, Kizike, what's your take? I would tell you, I would give it to that man at the time and the day. But right now, let's go into a different phase. For tennis, though, I said, where Hobart, who can save the match point before defeating 5th seed Andrei Rublev 6-3, 3-6, 7-6, and that's our minute 10-8 to win the trailing Shanghai Masters final on Sunday. It was the Big Seven Pole's second Masters triumph to go with a one he won back in Miami in 2021 and the 7th ATP title in all. Now, next on, a 30-year-old man was arrested and charged with causing criminal damage for Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, London. Metropolitan Police have said this on Saturday, with local media reporting that the cost of the damage ran to 6 figures in pounds. The police said officers were called on Monday night and the man was arrested as he then appeared at Highbury Corners Magistrate Court on Wednesday. Sports confirmed an individual had been arrested, adding that there was no indication that the incident was linked to anti-Semitism. Now, sports fans base includes members of Northern Jewish community. There have been a spike reported incident of anti-Semitism in Britain since the latest outbreak of violence in Israel. Now, still talking about the show, let's go talk know what's going on in the world of football. So I'm going to bring this one out. Former Arsenal striker Emmanuel Adebayo has revealed he had been hoping the Gunners would beat Man City in last year's Premier League title race. Moving on, Mikel Arteta went close to winning the Premier League title before eventually finishing second. Arsenal all three meeting against Pep Guardiola's men last season, but this campaign they have emerged victorious in their last 2 clashes. Now, reflecting on the title race last season, Adebayo said, who left Arsenal for City in 2009 report last season, we were all rooting for them to win the league, and they came very close. Now, it's normal when I see players like this trying to make mark for themselves, like Adebayo Sheyi. He played for Real Madrid, legendary, I could say. He had a short spell, played for Arsenal as well, played for City. But I think everyone believes Adebayo sounds more like an Arsenal fan. Reasons are, playing for City doesn't really mean, even though we understand he didn't leave in a good note. We did see the celebration when he scored, against Arsenal, and that was a massive celebration. But right now, saying we all expected Arsenal to have won the league. What's your take about that? For me, I would say yes. Last season was so shambolic for Arsenal. I felt so furious when I watched Arsenal play. They did well in the playing ways, but they got to a point where everybody felt like Arsenal would win the league, and they were not consistent. They stayed in the log for a long period of time. They crossed over for this, January and went so close, but it was not long when City, took over and now emerged to be champion. But for Adebayo, like you heard him say, he believes it's going to be really time for Arsenal to win the Premier League this time around. They come second in the league where Tottenham Hotspur are front runners-up in the first position. But for Manchester City, who happens to be third, I would want to share this with you. Pep Guardiola is not sleeping anytime soon. And this is not a good news for Man City. They are really being positioned at the third side. But Adebayo believes it's a do well for us now this time around to emerge champions, because they did well last season, but claiming the trophy was a bad one for them. Now, quickly, let's talk about Qatari banker Sheikh Jassim bid Hamad Al-Dhani has withdrawn a bid to buy Man United, according to reports stated on Saturday. United announced nearly a year ago that the board was exploring strategic alternatives to enhance the club growth with a full sale on of the options. Now, Sheikh Jassim and British billionaire Jim Ratcliffe were the front runners-up after several rounds of bidding earlier this year, but the process has stalled in recent months despite the anger of supporters towards the current owners, the Glazers family. The Americans have owned the English giant since the leveraged takeover in 2005 for £790 million. That is approximately $961 million. Saddled, the club with huge debt. Now, figure the match showed United debt has grown to £970 million. However, the Glazers are believed to holding out a world record fee for a football club in excess of £6 billion. Sheikh Jassim bid was for full control of United and promised to clear the club's debt. By contrast, Ratcliffe is reportedly willing to buy a smaller stake to break the impasse. Ownership of the 20-time English champion, the Red Devils' fortunes on the field have been faded under the Glazers' tenure, which United have not won the Premier League since former manager Alex Ferguson retired back in 2013 and last won the Champions League in 2008. They currently sit 10th in the Premier League and have lost their first 2 Champions League group stage matches for the first time in the club history. Now, what is the take on that? I don't know. I could say that one of the problems United is really facing now, some want to say Onana, some could say Ten Hag, some could say the Glazer family, some could pick out individuals, some want to say Sancho, some want to say, the showboat master, Anthony, but the truth of the matter remains this, right? Not until the club gets it right, that we'll have to see a different Manchester United. The last they clinched on the trophy, on a very big trophy in the Premier League, just a long time ago. Now, it doesn't really mean that Ferguson has left a legacy that would not be yielding fruit anytime soon. But the question is, who would be the right manager to emerge to make it right? Now, that's Erik ten Hag. He won a Carabao Cup, and that's like a yardstick for him to do well this season. But now, let's take it back to the growth of the club, where Ronaldo was at the club last season. And do you realize that most of the things Ronaldo said in the Piers Morgan interview was right? Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say Ronaldo did well for honoring the interview. Maybe if he had honored the interview while he's at Al-Nassr, that would have been a better one. But being on a contract on the club side, where you ply your trade, you're in England and you have a meeting, I feel like that was just a way to force him out. Now, but he talked about the facilities of the club. He talked about he left for Real Madrid and he came back, and everything remained in same way. How many years counting? And that's about one for a club side. So, like the Glazers right now, to sell, to buy, everything is looking very bad for the club. Reasons are, you got a club for yourself, you're still owing debt. Now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, for me, is going to be having everything on his own detriment, because I know he has the money. It's a very good one for him to see that, the other man is backing off our Danny Sheikh Jassim. But for Ratcliffe, who happens to be a British man, coming close now, wanting to have a minor stake at the club, it means he would have a lot to do. Like you heard him say, I will be clearing some of the debt, or majorly the debt of the club. Now, it means Man United is one of the greatest clubs, haven't won the Premier League 20 times, but they owe. It's funny. It's funny to see United side owing a whole lot of debt needs to be cleared out. If there will be a move on, it means Sir Jim Ratcliffe has to make sure everything's all right. Now, the Qatari Sheikh Jassim, who have withdrawn to buy the club, knows what he says for himself. We know it was a bid, a very strong bid. At some point, we had 5 bidders. Later on, we did see 4 bidders. It came to 3, but finally now it's just about those 2 guys, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the British man, and also the Qatari, our Danny Sheikh Jassim. But for Sheikh Jassim, it's no go area anymore. I withdraw. That's what the man is saying, the Qatar international. But I understand many United fans in Nigeria, to be exact, want to see the Qatari own the club. Reasons are, they are ready to spend the money. They are ready to spend the money at the right time. Not just about the Qatari, I think it's about the Arabic world. They venture into this because they want to make it okay. Now, we've seen a Newcastle turnaround, how it's been over time, and Amanda Shevley doing so well for the club. We've seen also how the other side is doing, talk about it, Paris Saint-Germain, how they've been doing. But right now, you could say it's a welcome development for every Qatari side or every Saudi side having bought a club for themselves, and how they've made things look very okay. But wrapping up the show now, don't forget a very big game comes up today where Nigerian Super Eagles will be playing right in Portugal against, the Mambas of Mozambique. And that will be a very big game. Dicey one to come for Joseph Pesero. Reasons are we going to see Anozoho start the game? Are we going to see Maduka Okoye, who haven't featured for his new side of the Nathan in the Serie A? Or are we going to see the Hapoel Jerusalem goalkeeper Deleye man in the post? This has been a very big problem for the Nigerian national team over time. When are we going to see a replacement of Vincent Ayama? Ever since he left that space, we've been struggling to know who will be man on the post to get it right. It takes me back to say, maybe Pesero would listen to me. Better word, go get the home base goalkeepers to man on the post if you will do that. For Uzoho, I think his time is running out fast. One thing the Super Eagles player need to understand is that wearing the jersey, having the badge on your chest, it's a lot. You're honoring a country, and you need to work very hard, extremely hard, to get out there. Now, what we see now, playing these friendly games, it might look like a mere friendly, but this is like a screening for me, because if you're not doing it right this time around, it means you won't be going to Ivory Coast come 2024. But for Peseiro, I don't know what's at stake right now. I think I love the fact that he defended Uzoho, during the press conference after the game. He said Uzoho shouldn't be blamed. All the teams should be blamed. But today, again, we need to see a Peseiro come out very strong against the Mozambique side. It's a neutral ground. It's Portugal we're talking about. But don't also forget, the Portuguese also colonized Mozambique. So the Mozambique guys have some flair of Portuguese around them, and they do speak Portugal. So it will be a very, very dicey game for Nigeria. But I will hope we'll come out right well to do that. But Kelechi Iheanacho is out of the team to go handle personal issues. Victor Osimhen is also out of the team at the moment. Haven't returned back to the Pets in the Pineapple League. Then it means we have to use what we have. There's a Victor Boniface. There is a Terra Murphy. All of those guys would be planning out to be strong today to make sure everything's okay. Now, for Alex Iwobi, he returns back to the national team. This time around, we did see him play well the other time when he got off for Joe Aribo, and that was a very strong midfield. For Ndidi, who happens to be the skipper of the side, he needs to control the backline, and he needs to be very watchful of the way the team play. And I'm loving a whole lot of players on the team, the likes of Soporuchuku, that's the name of Yemichi, who played from the left side all the time. We did see Ostemi Ajayi, Osayi, the Benin guy at those statements coming from the bench. The way he got started all the time was the Calvin Bassey and I think Ajayi playing together at the central. So these ones are good to go. We have to wait to know what comes out. But I wish all the best. I wish the very, very best wishes to the Super Eagles today in their very big game against the Mambas of Mozambique come that time. It is 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Please, I beg, don't miss that encounter. But till we meet again, it's time for me to call it a wrap. And I need to run off the studio now. More interesting programs coming your way. Don't change the channel. It is Voice of the People TV. I am your host, and my name is Kizike. Have a great day out ahead. I'm out for now. Peace.